Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Smiths in the Black channel here, Ticker Talker with Strat Time Report and a whole bunch of stuff I've been talking about since I've been here. It is still playing out every day, all the time when we know what to look for, right? Okay, well, let's take a look. So we got the SPY here, right? And the SPY in the lower middle comes up still an inside month. Couldn't get out of here, right? Not yet. They thought about it, couldn't do it. So if you look here on the upper middle, right? SPY, perfect doji on the week, doing nothing really. But the thing is, we're going to see if we can take this out, right? 323.41, and this morning, 323.04, still hasn't done it, all right? So we'll see if that happens. But if you look at the daily here, like so, this is what we've been talking about, the broadening formation, back and forth and back and forth. So since we were watching this here, all right, this high, lower low, reversal, and then we start a new series up in here and finally take that out, right? Okay, so all that stuff, one big broadening formation, and then this stuff in here, right? You might recall this outside day, take out both sides of the range. And then yesterday when we gapped up, after we gapped up 2 days ago and came down here, right? Then we gapped down here. So we're always looking for which side of each bar we're going to take out, and what does that mean? So in this instance, these two bars became an outside bar of this, but it wasn't weak enough to take this out, right? And then yesterday, what happened? We gapped down and we come back up, so we're closer to taking out the highs, which it did. Now it gaps up, and these two bars are now an outside bar of that, right? That's true. Okay, so we open up, and if you go to your 60, let's go to the 5 minute here for a second. You see this? Oftentimes we'll say good morning triangle. There's going to be a new series of price discovery. All right, so it gaps up, comes in, makes the high, right? Makes a lower low, then makes the higher high, and then was ripping through previous range, right? Is that what we look for? Definitely look for that, right? And then boom, comes down here, higher high, lower low. These are an outside bar of all that, right? And then it comes down here, but instead of just straight falling apart, what does it do? It comes back up to make the slight higher high to stop all these guys out, and then back through previous range, right? Okay, that's how it works. So on a longer term time frame, if you go to 60, right? Is this something we look for? A bar that's green but then comes back into a previous range and turns red? It is. Why? Because we know outside bars exist. And then boom, down she goes, right? And remember here, we talk about this all the time, the outside bar expansion, right? It's still going when it takes this out. So here, it was still going down, right? And so all you had to do is take that and monitor off the 15. And here's your reversal back higher right here. So you can take all that down, and then you can take the money and go back long. All right, now we got a new 60. All right, so now we're still in this range, but we're starting to drop again. Right, that's something we'd want to know about, because we keep doing this on the daily, back and forth and back and forth. And if this keeps going, we can get another outside bar, maybe take all this stuff out. Now, it might be a tall order for today, but as you can see, these are multiple day patterns. So if we go to the QQQ here, so Qs, once again, go up but come back into the range. This is a potential outside day to the downside, right? It is. And so if you take a look at some of the clues you had, right, here, pops up and you see this inside on the 30 minute. What happened? It poked up and came back. Is this something we look for? Inside bar, then attempt and a failure? It is. It's called a rev strat. 1, 2, boom, down. And you had some help in there too. Apple, the inside bar reversal on the 30 right here. Pop its head up, inside 30, boom. And so you're seeing a lot of these big boys in tech, either inside there trying to get back into old previous ranges, right? Yesterday's range. Microsoft, you can see that potential outside bar or a compound if they keep trying to bring these things in. You're going to see stuff like SQ potentially doing that. Splunk. So a lot of that's Splunk popping back up. Oh, no, there it is. Because you're seeing a lot of these big tech guys either being inside day or not going anywhere. Amazon. Here, still inside day. Tesla. Here, Shop. So a lot of these guys are staying inside day. So it started off with Pandemia, right? Marna, M-R-N-A. Okay, so Marna was already on a monthly buy, right? It was. Inside bar continuation here, above 67. Have I talked about that? I have. Then it gaps up into exhaustion risk. Anytime you go into higher highs, there's nothing left for the short side to be against. Then You go to the 60. Here's your inside 60, down. Still good so far. If you go to the 15er, here, you can see even if you wanted to cover here. But one of the things about looking at the inside bars like we do is you can look into the guts of it to see if there's a setup first to trigger that signal, right? Okay, so here, you're gonna see this inside bar here. Is this something we look for? The inside bar up and then back through? It is. 1, 2, 2, boom. So here, you nail it at 83.77, and then when it hits the 60, here, at 81, you short more, all right? And then you can ride that thing down. So we started off with some pandemia here, and let's get back to shrinking this down a little bit. So Marna, all the rage for the inside 15, for the potential vaccine. So that gets all the guys who are in trouble going here. RCL, right? So you can see that's taking an inside week up in the inner middle, right? So we want to see so far no lower lows on the 60. You can also watch that with CCL, of course. That's inside on the 60 now, right? See that? So I'll get our attention either above or below this. 1684. Market just kind of meandering for right now. United Airlines, in general on the month, doing nothing. Still an inside week. So that's something you'd be aware about, even if you have their inside 60, right? Marriott. And Marriott goes up, and you can still handily inside month and lower middle, right? You can see on the 30, what it's doing right now. Is it doing that thing where it goes inside, pokes down, and comes back through? It is. So next half an hour, that's good over 92.18, right? We've got UPS and the trannies holding some gains up in here too. And UPS, this is another way that we look for the reversal on the inside bar. You see this inside bar in the upper middle on the weekly? It pokes down, and then once that goes green, we know outside bars exist. You're going to take that out, right? And if anything good happens, more. So you can also see here on the monthly in the lower middle, the lower low, the inside month and now coming back through, right? So we're looking to come take these guys out here, right, with UPS over time. Okay, keeping an eye on the market. ALGN from yesterday. And now this gets stuck in here. If you go to the lower middle, trying to get out of here, but right now it poked down. So if you can poke down off the inside bar, so if we can take this out, 317.91, then we're going to go back to the highs. And you can see in the monthly, here it is. Do that yesterday. Now it's just hunting these guys over here, just stalling out a little bit on the 60 like the rest of the market here, because we might get a bunch of inside 60s here. Wouldn't surprise me. And what that means is here, you see SPY in the lower middle, we're forming equilibriums. Now they're still dropping. You got some time on this. QQQ, you see this? Either side of those 60s is going to be important come the next hour if they hold like that. You got LOPE coming up here, and LOPE here on this move here, moving up, you'll look in the lower middle. It's changing the month back to green and potentially outside. That's a good thing. And you can see the upper middle, see the weekly goes outside on that. Yeah, now we'll see if the 60 sets up again. But we like coming back to previous ranges, right? So on the daily, you'll see this coming right back through. Outside bar, inside bar, back through. That's exactly what you want. Coming back through the range. Now you can shoot after these guys here, 93.68. EQ heating up a little bit again. Still stuck in here, but here's what it did. Now that it's backing off a bit on the 60, but here's what it did. Right out the chute when it did this, once it turns green and back through this range, we're looking to take out this high, 19.18. It took it out by 4 cents, right? And then you got to be aware of it. You got BE. And BE coming up here too. And you can see bright green on the month. We like that. Bright green on the week. Not coming back to a previous range. But you can see this was an outside bar in the upper left. And it poked it down here. So when it starts coming through here, we're going to take that out because we know outside bars exist. Then you can get your inside 60 here for the continuation, if you can see that lower left. We got blue coming up here just a bit here, blue in the bio. So one of the things you look for is when the market sells off things that don't. But right now, these broader averages looking a little heavy. They might not hold on to these 60s, but we'll see. We had a couple shenanigans, WKEY. Popping up. Look at this baby. It just looks like it's halted. Let me take a look. Halted right now, but you can keep an eye on when that baby opens. And HTBX. HTBX. Let's see what that thing does. That's going to be an inside 60 almost for sure. All right, what you doing, brother? Averages kind of sitting there. Okay, so we had some gaps too. I put at Robin the Black on Twitter, right? JRJC here, right? So gaps up. And you go a little tricky on the 15er. Here's your inside 30 right here, right? Boom, down she goes. And off the 60, the 2-2 reversal 60. Gaps up, and then when it takes this out right here, below 22.62, you're in. And the good thing is, those take an hour to set up. Your Goldman Sachs coming in, all right? And so that's good. How's your 30? There's your 2-2-30 reversal right here. How's the 15er? This is a 2-2 reversal, up and back through the previous range, back into the gap she goes. So Goldman Sachs are coming up. If we go to alt, there we go. So alt firming up a little bit. We'll see. Here's your outside bar on the 60 to start the day. And what that does here in the lower left, here, once this thing starts coming back through here, you're going to look at your daily because you're going to have a reversal that kicks in here on the daily, right there. And that's below 25.62. So we'll see if that sets up again, like a lot of things potentially inside on the 60, something we're going to pay attention to. We go to INO. What's INO doing? INO trying to recover here, but you can see here in the upper left, inside day and back to the downside, right? So potentially what's that setting up? We're only midweek right now. But you can see in this week, they tried to get out of here this inside week, and now Trump coming back into the range. That's something you definitely want to know about, right? Now, on the 60, it's trying to recover here. You see the inside bar, and then here, trying to that. So a little bit of conflict. We prefer this to be a signal to the downside. KLAC, just more of these dailies about to go outside day right here. Might as well finish the job, right? So we'll see. SNPS. Here, you can see this. Anytime you fail taking out one side of the range and starts coming back through, that's going to get my attention, especially in this SNPS, because you can see this in the weekly. There's a reversal on the week to the downside. So we want to complete this outside bar of this thing, right? And it's changing the month red in the lower middle. That's something we definitely want to know about, right? So we'll see how that comes along. If you look at Xilinx here, once again, probably going inside 60, but if you go to the upper middle, we want to re-break this week to the downside because it's still red right now. That's 97.31. And so if it starts to do that, maybe tomorrow, if you take out today's lows, then you'd be an outside bar of this thing, and we can watch that with all the SMHers and stuff like that. So let me see here what's going on. So like I said, you're going to be looking for a lot of inside 60s here coming up, right? And this is like a new day to us. It's a new equilibrium, right, on a 60-minute basis. And so there's something called a simultaneous break, right? And a simultaneous break is when 80 to 90% of the signals all break in the same direction, right? And so at this point, when you have a monster amount of inside 60s coming, once these 60s start breaking either way, we can see how many of them start to go. Because once they start to go, you can get some of those laggards, because once you see 80, 90% of them all taken, it's going to go. They're going to go. So real important. So we really would prefer this to the downside to get this outside bar going on SPY and a bunch of these things. What's going on here? Seeing BLDP running across the tape. What's this thing done? Okay, BLDP. You can see this outside bar, inside day, and going to the highs. All right, something like that. I'm just watching my scanner here real quick to see if there's anything else I can pick up for you. But really, inside 60 is going to be the flavor. And then coming in tomorrow, how many of these big boys like Tesla and all these stay inside day? Because here you can see Tesla doing this. As it stays inside day, right here in the upper middle, right? And then you'll see down in here, you're going to get a chop shop. You see all this? All of these are stuck in here, right? And that's where your price discovery starts again, right? Slight higher high, slight lower low, and now trying to hammer back through. And that's what you can expect, price discovery to start over in inside bars. Right, and that's why we avoid those longer term ones. But we're always aware of that. It's going to go back and forth, like I've shown you in SPY. So mind those inside 60s, and stop by the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker. All my videos are free. I put a bunch of new stuff in there, that interviews with Trend Spider and webinars over there. So you might want to check that out. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Report.